Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everybody together. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Tila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Shri Prabhupada ki Shri Gaurata ki Harinam Sankirtan ki. So you are comfortable, everybody? They're packed, I think, completely. Yeah. You can come a little bit here. Ahead, you can come here. You can come here. So they get more place. What is that? Yeah. Yes, I think so. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuvannmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So today we had a beautiful festival a few minutes ago of hearing about some of your seniors. Some of them have already passed out working and some are studying still, I believe, right? Second year, third year, some of them. No, I am asking about those. Second, third year, yeah. So, we always need a good example for us in our lives to follow. So, your seniors, when these programs began, they were a small minority. but by their good example and behavior and practice and uncompromising balance between spirituality and academics, they set a very good example. So now we are seeing a roaring response from all of you. Thank you for coming today. You see, in this world, every creation of God is very unique in its features. For example, a dog can sniff and find out a thief, correct now? Can we sniff and find out a thief? Not, we can of course sniff, but you can't find a thief. Isn't it? An eagle has a telescopic eye. It can fly high in the sky and see a dead body down in the ground, several, 50 or 100 miles away also. They have such kind of eyes, isn't it? Similarly, look at the mosquitoes. Sometimes there is a stagnated water. And mosquitoes can multiply in thousands, whereas human being can only produce one baby in a year maximum. We have a limitation. In the same manner, if you look at the nature around you, there are creatures which surpass human being in their abilities. Like look at the elephant. Can eat tons of grass, but we can only eat 3 times a day. Little food. So whether it is eating or mating or sleeping, polar bear sleeps 6 months in a year. You only sleep 6 hours in the night. Isn't it? So when you look at the creation, naturally we get a question in our mind, how am I special in this world? So one very famous scientist, he said that in the world, the nature is created in such a way that if all the animals, birds, insects, everybody is there, and if there is not a single human being, he said this world would go on very smoothly. Because none of the animals and birds and insects, they go against nature. The only creature, he said, who goes against nature is who? Human being. So in the last couple of years or so, when we had a pandemic, all humans were within 4 walls, isn't it? At that time, many scientists agreed to the fact that the nature got recuperated and replenished because of human non-interference. Because the man is the one who spoils the environment. And that is told by a scientist only, man himself. That means without the presence of man, this whole world would go on very smoothly, very nicely. Which may be very discouraging for us to hear, really, because it makes us feel unwanted in this world, in God's creation. But you can see it in a very positive way, because man is not supposed to be here in this world. We are supposed to be on a spiritual plane. Because that is what makes humans different from animals and birds. So, man can cause great damage to the world around, or he can do the greatest good to the world. Because within us, there is always these 2 kind of mentalities. Divine and demoniac mentalities. So, there is a very famous Upanishad called as Sri Ishopanishad. So, the first 3 verses summary I am going to share with you today, very briefly. The first verse talks about, you can repeat that verse. Ishavassamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha magrida kasya siddhanam. So this is a very famous verse, well known across the globe. Even many Westerners quoted this verse. Because of Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam, this means everything in this world belongs to one Supreme. But you are allowed to accept your quota. And you should not encroach upon the quota of others, knowing well to whom it originally belongs to. That's the meaning of this verse. So, think about a sack of rice kept in the road. Sparrow will come, eat little bit and go away. A dog will come, eat little bit and go away. Once the stomach is full, they will go away. But when a human being comes, what do you think he will do? Isn't it? Will he take a morsel and go away? He will take the whole sack. And he'll also be wondering who has left it here. If they bring 2 dozen sacks, he will stock all of them. you are able to see the difference? This is why Gandhi said one time, in this world there is enough for everyone's need, but not for one man's. Like that he said. One man becomes greedy, then he creates a messy world there. Because try to picturize, if there are 5 children, every child is given one toy to play with. But one child snatches all the toys and tells other children, all of you get lost. And this is not only to do with children. Even grown-ups have done such things. Look at, Hitler, for example. He killed 10 million Jews. He didn't want a single Jew to remain on the planet. He wanted to wipe them out. Similarly, the whites subdued the blacks and wanted them as slaves at one time. Similarly, invasion in India also, we have had invasion of British, the Mughals and so many people. Generally, why does anybody invade any country? To loot the wealth of the country, to collect taxes from the people, and to make the people into slaves. You will see that. So, this is what has made this world a very miserable place, because everybody is given their toy by God. God has given Gulf people their oil. He has given dollar notes to the Americans. He has given watches to the Switzerland people. He has given machines to the Germans, isn't it? Similarly, he has given spirituality to Indians. Everybody has something which is a feather on their cap, definitely. But you will find that human beings, due to their greed, they create a very messy world here. So that's why this is the first verse which says that everything belongs to God, because you have not created this world. You have not created the sun or moon. You have not created the stars or the change of seasons. We haven't created the vegetables and fruits and cereals and grains and whatnot, spices and so many things. We are just observing the nature's amazing creations, and we are taking from the nature. So be mindful of this truth. That's the very first verse. I heard a story of one sadhu who came to assembly. So some people wanted to offer their respects to him. They took a big plate full of fruits and they kept it in the front of the sadhu. Sadhu immediately opened all the fruits and he ate all the fruits. And he just threw the covers away and then he walked up. He went inside. And all the people were standing there. And then next day when the sadhu came, again another person came and gave a plateful of fruits. Sadhu just took it and like you're throwing a cork ball or something, he just threw it here. Throw it here, throw it here, throw it everywhere he threw it. When the plate was empty, he got up and went away. So third day, again sadhu came to the same assembly. Somebody came and gave a plate of fruits again. And this time he picked up 1 or 2 fruits he ate. And then he called different people and gave them one, different people. So the disciple met the Guru privately and said, Guruji, your behavior is very mysterious. 3 days you behaved in 3 different ways. And Guru asked, what did the people say about what I did? He said, the first 2 days your behavior was very strange, they didn't like it. First day you came and you ate all the fruits in front of everybody and you went away. Second day you threw away all the fruits and they gave. So neither of the behavior was appreciated by the people. They were bewildered. But then the third day you accepted some and you gave back some. They were very happy, he said. The Guru said, I taught a very great lesson, he said. When you are born in this world, don't gulp everything yourself. Don't take in everything. Without even asking whom it belongs to. Correct, no? As soon as a man is born, he opens his eyes. Imagine there is a big castle where there is a table full of all eatables. Very, very delicious preparations kept. A man is walking on the road, he just barges into that castle. He eats all kinds of things and then he finds a very nice soft bed, he goes to sleep. And the owner of the castle comes there and he finds, hey, this fellow has eaten everything and is sleeping as if it is his own. That's what everybody is doing in this world, is it not? So we are just coming and picking up the things and just enjoying, not even asking who has put all these things. isn't it? And the second day, what did Sadhguru? He just threw away. That also people didn't like. Similarly, some fellows say, nothing in this world belongs to me, so I don't touch anything. I go to Himalayas and I'll be a Naga Baba there. There are people like that. So that also is, God did not create this world so that you can leave everything and go to Himalayas. Then what should one do? One should accept one's quota and not encroach upon everybody else's quota. Correct now? So, in this world you will find there are 8.4 million species of life. God has created quota for everybody. You will see that every creature has a unique type of food. Like for a lizard, he catches the flies. You have seen that? Yeah, a snake eats a frog. Similarly, an eagle may eat a snake or something. Similarly, human beings have their vegetarian food. Food like grains, spices, cereals, milk, sugar, ghee, oil, all these things. You will see that a cow will eat grass, but if there is no grass available, a cow will never eat flesh. You will see that. Because cow follows her dharma very strictly. Similarly, you see tiger will eat flesh. If there is no flesh available, have you seen in the forest tiger eating grass? Will you ever see that? They will ever do that? They will never do that. Tiger will die but not eat the grass, although everywhere there is grass. But it is only human being who want to eat flesh also and grains also, both. And he has conveniently given a name for himself, omnivorous. Actually, if one studies the anatomy of the human body, our body is actually made for vegetarian food. Our intestine is 30 feet long, whereas tiger's intestine is only this much long. Our intestine has gastric juice which is very dilute. Tiger's gastric juice is 20 times more concentrated. The intestine is small, but gastric juice is concentrated. You put, when the tiger swallows a deer or something, immediately digested and thrown out. Whereas in our body, it has to go through a long distance and therefore it becomes cancerous. It causes many problems, indigestion, many other complications. One eats meat. So anatomically, our body is not designed for that, you see. Nor can you pounce on a deer and eat it. Can a man pounce on a deer? You only pounce on a carrot. You can pounce on a cucumber. Yeah, but you can't eat. Pouncing on a deer or a rabbit or anything like that. So therefore, we have to cook it, isn't it? So, in this way, God has strictly created quota for every living being. Now, one man came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, I am also a vegetarian. Like all your devotees are vegetarians. I am also vegetarian. Prabhupada said, even a monkey is vegetarian. Prabhupada said, even an elephant is vegetarian. What is so great about being vegetarian? Prabhupada said, we are Krishnatarian. He said, yes, what is that? Prabhupada said, we eat vegetarian food, but we will not eat it without first thanking God. Because He is the one who gives everything. First we salute Him, bow down to Him, thank Him. And then it is called as what? Prasad. Then it's called Prasad. Prasad means mercy. When you have recognized and acknowledged. So, when anything you do, like for example, say, your friend has a bike and it is outside his room. Will you take the bike and go away? Or will you take his permission? Yeah, isn't it? If you just take the bike and go away, when he wants to go to college, he doesn't find it. Then he is phoning up, hey, did you take my bike? Yeah, I took it. Hey, why you never told me? You know. He may say, anyway, it was just lying, so I picked it up. Do you do like that? Even if it is lying idle, we always take permission. Like, I want your pen to write something. I will ask you, can I take your pen? That means everything in this world belongs to somebody and you don't touch it unless you take the permission. But in this world, God has created so many things, nobody takes any permission. They pick up and therefore it is considered sin. When you take the things and engage it for our own enjoyment, it is considered sin. So now, God being the owner of everything, we are taking from Him. We have to express our thanks to Him. But one amazing thing happens. When you thank Him, your relationship with Him becomes awakened. And that is the time one gradually begins to understand, I am not at all a body made of flesh and bones and stool and bile and mucus and sputum and all dirty things. This body is a combination of many foul-smelling substances. Actually, if you look at this body, The eye is a part of tears. Nose is a part of, mucus and other things. Mouth is a part of saliva. Ears is a part of wax. And front and back we have urine part and stool part. Body is a dirty body. But residing in this body is a pure personality. Who is he? Soul. Soul is divine. And soul is completely pure. Soul has no blemish. Soul is never bad. Soul is, just like God is divine, soul is also divine. The only difference is God is like infinity and we are infinitesimal. We are tiny, He is great. He is the whole, we are like a part and parcel. We are small. Otherwise, the soul is exactly similar in qualities to God. But when that soul comes in this world, he becomes trapped in this dirty body. And inside this body, when he's seated, then he identifies himself to be this body, he thinks, correct, no? And that is leading us to the second verse. Second Ishopanishad verse, it says, there are three types of karma. Karma, vikarma, akarma, or akarma, we call it. So karma means prescribed activities for material elevation. Say, for example, you do some punya, you go to heaven. You do some pap, you go to hell, isn't it? So within this world also, for example, you all are born in a good family. You got good education now because you have done some punya in the past. According to Shastras, if you have done some sukruti, punya, material punya in the past, you get a handsome body, you get good education, you get riches, you have good health, you get good food, born in a good family, correct? No? On the other hand, if you have done bad, sinful activities, then one gets ugly looking body, and one is illiterate, one is having diseased body, born in a slum, no proper food, and all kinds of complications. So naturally when you hear this, this is karma and vikarma, I told you, correct, no? So immediately what your mind says, maybe I should be careful in how I act. I will do karma so that I will get a handsome body and good education. Correct or not, isn't it? That's what most of the people think like that. But what in Gita Lord Krishna says, good karma, bad karma, both are bad, he says. Why? Once I was giving a lecture, I asked casually a question. Would you like to be handcuffed by a gold chain or handcuffed by a silver chain or handcuffed by an iron chain? So one old man said, gold chain is best. So the old man's wife was sitting next to him and she said, hey, what is this? Why do you want to be handcuffed by gold chain? She said, you should say no chain. Because do you like to be handcuffed? No. So, in the same manner, if you do good, you go to heaven. And then when punya is over, you come back to earth. If you do it bad, you go to hell. And then when -3, -2, -1, 0, then you come back. Or 3, 2, 1, 0, you come back. Heaven or hell, both brings you back to earth later on. But you have to do that karma which will take you beyond this world. Back home, back to Vaikuntha, spiritual world. And that is called akarma or akarma. A means absolute truth karma. Karma done for the absolute truth. That is akarma, we call it. And vikarma means what? Vicious karma. What is vicious karma? You know what is vicious? For example, killing the other creatures unnecessarily, illicit sex, smoking, drinking, drugs. These are all vicious karma. So you'll remember this karma, vikarma, akarma. So easy to remember. Vikarma means vicious karma. A karma means absolute truth karma. Done for God. You can remember like that. Easily. So what is the difference between karma and a karma? Or karma and akarma? Who can tell me? Any of you understood the difference? Yes?
Karma elevates us materially.
Yes.
Benefit us materially.
Yeah.
Well, akarma will lead us to spiritual benefits. It will take us back home, back to Godhead.
Correct. That's the main difference. Give one applause. Main point. Say for example, if I give notebooks to school children, next life I'll be a printing press owner. Because I gave notebooks, now I am surrounded by papers. Isn't it? If I gave water to people in hot summer, next life I'll be born by the side of a river. I'll have no water scarcity. Or I'll have a big syntax tank, 24-hour water supply. like that. Yeah, if you give uniforms to school children, next life you will be owner of a textile mill. Because you'll be surrounded by clothes. Anything materially you do, you get material result 1,000 times more the next life. Because you are a charitable person, you did. But if you do spiritual activities, for example, you are chanting Hare Krishna, you're reading Bhagavad Gita, you are singing, you are also going to the temple, you are worshipping the Lord, doing arati. These are all directly divine activities, spiritual activities in relation to God. Of course, Arjuna is a warrior, but he's fighting for whose sake he's fighting? For Krishna's sake. So it's written in whose account? His Arjuna's account or Krishna's account? Krishna's account. He's doing in Krishna's account. Like for example, a cashier is working in a bank. He's collecting 50 lakh rupees. He's giving away 1 crore rupees. Is he crying while giving away money? Or while collecting money, is he very jolly? No. Why? Because it is not his money. It's whose money? Bank's money. But out of that 50 lakh, 1 lakh he puts in his pocket. Then immediately he'll be put behind the bars. Correct? Because he's taking that 1 lakh on whose account? His own account. He's putting in his own thing. Because it's bank's money. Similarly, think about a soldier going to battle. On behalf of India, he's fighting with Pakistan. He gets a Paramvir Chakra, correct, no? On the other hand, if after retirement he's ex-serviceman, he shot his neighbor angrily for some reason, he'll be put behind the bars. The same, he may say, sir, I fought with Pakistanis and I shot some of them, you gave me Paramvir Chakra, now you're putting me behind the bars. That's because it is in whose account he shot? In government account or his own account? His own account. So anything you do in your account brings you back to this world. Anything you do in God's account, it takes you back to Godhead. So look at Arjuna, look at Duryodhana, both are there. Both have chariot, both have flag, both have horses, both have bows and arrows. They look similar, right now? But there is a big difference. In those days, we used to have this audio tape, which moves like this. So one audio tape will be getting unwound. Another audio tape will be getting wound more and more. You have seen that, all of you? So now think about out of this, which is Arjuna, which is Duryodhana? Unwound. Correct, no? He's getting unwounded of his karma because he's working on Krishna's account. Whereas Duryodhana is getting wound with more and more karma. Is that clear to everybody? Yeah. He's increasing his karma. Correct, no? So therefore, we are jivas, tiny jivas. If we work in God's account, we stand to gain. Everything can be done morning to night in God's account. For example, you're going to eat food, you only eat after thanking Krishna as prasad. Then that is written in Krishna's account. You're studying, you get good marks. Say one of you topped the college in IIT. Somebody's coming and praising you. My Lord, what a smart guy you are. You are very outstanding. You got centum in mathematics. You are like second Ramanujam. Somebody tells you. And you tell him, Krishna says in Gita, Buddhir, Buddhimatam asmi. I am the intelligence of the intelligent people. Or if you are strong, he says, Balam balavatam chaham. I am the strength of the strong. You give the credit to God. God gave me the brain. I didn't create my brain. Did any of us create our own brain? God has given me the brain. So when you say like that, immediately you are writing in whose account? Krishna's account. Because you're giving the credit to God. You are not taking it yourself. So, I heard once a husband and wife, they both were having a talk and the husband saw that, wife was doing a job, she was only earning 5,000 rupees. And the husband was earning 1 lakh rupees per month. It was a very big job. But one day the wife purchased a silk saree in 5,000 rupees. And the husband scolded her, what is this? You have 1 month's salary is 5,000, you spent the whole amount purchasing a silk saree in that month, you didn't save anything. The wife said, how can you argue with me? It's my account. I am using my money from my account. I am spending 5,000. Why should you protest for that? Husband said, okay, I leave it to you. It's your choice. He said. And later the wife thought, I am getting only 5,000 every month. My husband is getting 1 lakh. Let me make my account one with my husband's account. She told the husband, okay, my money also will put in your account. She started putting. Then the husband brought one day for Diwali 2 silk sarees he brought. She said, I purchased 1 saree. You were shouting at me, now you brought 2. Husband said, but my account is a big account. And out of 1 lakh, 10,000 is peanuts for me. He said. Then the wife understood, it's advantage for me to make my account one with his account. Now, so what is the meaning of this example I gave you? We see our power is very limited. God's power is infinite. That's why Arjuna chose Krishna. You know that, correct? Did he choose Narayana Sena or did he choose Krishna? Because one mentor is worth an entire army. Because Krishna acted as a guide. Krishna acted as a support. Krishna acted as a philosopher. He acted as a friend. He acted as a constant companion of the Pandavas. And ultimately Pandavas emerged victorious. You will see that. It's like 1 plus infinity makes it infinity. Like that. So, that is called as akarma, we call it. Akarma, spiritual karma. So, you all are coming to these classes here. Hearing this class itself is spiritual karma. What you are hearing now. And if you are chanting Hare Krishna, that is also spiritual. Read Bhagavad Gita, spiritual. So, the beauty of this bhakti path is, it's a very wholesome path. What is the meaning of wholesome? It involves body, mind and soul. It's not like Karma Yoga involves only the senses. Jnana Yoga involves only the mind for speculation. Ashtanga Yoga involves the buddhi. But Bhakti Yoga involves the heart. You give your heart to God, your intelligence, mind, senses, everything runs behind the heart. You will see that. So, in this way, and also the beauty of this path is all our activities are connectable to Supreme. So, that is the second verse which says, you can aspire to live even for 100 years if you can connect all your activities to God and live a peaceful life. So, first is acceptance of God. Second is alignment with God. That's the second verse. And the last verse, third verse says, what happens if one does not awaken God consciousness? One does not, understand the meaning of life, purpose of life. Try to picture as if there is a parrot in a cage. You remove it from one cage and put it in a second cage for 3-4 years. And then remove it from second cage and put it in another cage for 10 more years. Will the parrot be happy? And that's what is happening to all the souls. The souls actually leave one body, then they occupy another body. Then when they come out of the body, they occupy a third body. Shankaracharya says, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Chatri Shayanam. He says, again and again I am taking birth in different bodies. Sometimes I am a king. Sometimes I am ordinary praja. Sometimes I am having punya, I am born with a handsome body. Sometimes ugly body. Sometimes human body. Sometimes animal body. Sometimes devata's body. Sometimes the body of a cockroach. I can take any body depending on good and bad karma. So he's saying that how long will this go on? Going from one cage to another cage. I don't want to go from cage to cage. I want to be released from the cage. From this all kinds of different bodies. Now, can any of you tell me, why are we taking more and more bodies? Why is Atma getting into new bodies? What is the reason for that? And you answered. I would like to hear from others also. If somebody else. If you raise the hand, mic will come to you. Yeah.
Our body has the possibilities to think, and we can go back to Godhead, utilizing our bodies.
That is true, yeah.
So
and that is a very good use of the body. That's spiritual use of the body. Correct, no? That's why the body is helpful. It's a Kaludharma sadhanam, it is said. But my question was, the jiva leaves one body and is given one more body, then third body and fourth body.
So
why should the jiva come out of the body and go back to Godhead? Why is he taking new bodies?
If the jiva could not attain the moksha, or the possibilities by which he should go, like he did not pray to God with full faith and devotion,
then
he is given one more chance and he is given one more body according to the karmas which he did in the last body. And so Lord gives us again and again chances to come back to Godhead, because he wants us to
good, that's correct. Good understanding. Give him an applause. You see, Lord Krishna says in Gita, if you are not my devotee, then you are taking charge of your life yourself only. Then one may be in a dog. Last time when I came, I showed all of you a barking dog. I showed you mathematics. How many of you remember? You remember that? I showed you dog calculating 2 plus 3, 5 plus 8. Did I show you that? I didn't show you. You can get my laptop, I can show you. If you connect it, I can show it. You can see how one gets the next body. Basically, if you are in one body, when you leave that body, whatever impressions are stored in your mind, and you want to give shape to those impressions, then you get one more body. Because the mind is for storing desires, and the body is for giving shape to those desires. Correct, no? You connect it behind you. Yeah. For giving shape. Say, for example, one of you has a desire to play a piano. That desire is stored in the mind. And then you get a body where you can, then you will purchase a piano and you will play. Because you had a desire, correct, no? What is that? Is coming there? The screen? Coming? So now what I will show you, something interesting. Somebody, according to Bhagavad Gita, as the jiva proceeds in one body, like we are all now growing from, our body has grown from childhood to youth now, correct now? As we are proceeding, Radheshyam says that at the time of our death, our mind carries Sugandha Vasanas or Durgandha Vasanas. Now if you get a Durgandha Vasana, now it's coming now, I think, correct? It's coming? If you get Durgandha Vasanas, then you get a bad body. Durgandha Vasana means sinful Vasanas you are carrying. Like sometimes the train is going through the forest and you get the smell of some dead animal. Correct now? Nasty smell, then you plug your nose. Sometimes the train is going through a flower garden. You get fragrance of the Jandu flowers, correct now? Similarly, all of us are doing good and bad. At the time of death, accordingly we will get the next body. Now I'll show you one. You can see this one.
1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and last number is 10. You are good boy. Give me answer. Quick. 1 plus 1. 3 plus 2. 5 plus 1.
Here it's coming.
7 plus 1.
Here.
Now, give me answer. 5 minus 2. 5 minus 1. 5 minus 4. 6 minus 3. 7 minus 4. 8 minus 4. 10 minus 3. Very good.
See, now, this is a simple dog in North India. So, now, if somebody says that, hey, this guy must have given training to the dog. If somebody says like that, then all the Americans would want to train their dogs like this, correct or not? Actually, this fellow says right from the birth the dog is doing much like this. It is not a trained dog. Nor can the dogs be trained like this for plus and minus. If the dogs are trainable like this, it will become a very common place thing, especially in a country like America. Agreed? Because Americans are very fond of the dogs. Everybody will want to make their dogs a mathematic genius. Correct now? Yes, and they'll want to show the dog how nicely it can do mathematics. You will never find a dog like this. Because this fellow must have been some maths tuition teacher. He must have done some blunder. He must have been lusty after some girl or something. He fell into the body of a dog. But still, the same mind he is carrying from the previous life. Similarly, you will see another example. Any of you know Marathi here? Anybody? Marathi, there are a few. Okay. Actually, I have one short video clip of Marathi. Okay. Others can understand it. It's not a very difficult thing.
गेल्या काही दिवसांपासून संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्रात वारीसोबत चालणारा हरिण चांगलंच वाढेल. मात्र ते हरिण स्वतःहून वारीत सामील झालं की एखादा वारकरी त्या हरणाला वारीत घेऊन आलाय. कुठपर्यंत या हरणाचा प्रवास सुरू राहणार आहे हे जाणून घेण्यासाठी पाहूया हा स्पेशल रिपोर्ट.
This is a deer walking with bhaktas going to Pandharpur.
सोशल मीडियावर सध्या या व्हिडिओने धुमाकूळ घातलाय. टाळ चिपळ्यांच्या आवाजासोबत हे हरिण निर्धास्तपणे चालतंय तरी कसं?
Generally, deers are afraid of human beings. They don't come near, but he's walking with the bhaktas.
ना कुणी पाळलेलं ना कुणी जबरदस्तीने आणलेलं.
Nobody tamed him.
मग त्याच्या
Nobody called him
येण्यामागचं नेमकं
on
कारण
his own.
तरी काय?
2 दिवस चालला आमच्या बरोबर आणि 2 दिवस चालल्यानंतर आमच्या सोबत राहायचं, आमच्या सोबत दिंडीमध्ये रोज चालायचं आणि चालत असताना आम्ही जेव्हा नामस्मरण करायचो, जर दिंडी एका जागेला थांबली तर दिंडी थांबल्यानंतर ते सुद्धा आमच्या बरोबर थांबून
So 2 days he was walking with them.
कीर्तनामध्ये ते पूर्ण 1 घंटा कीर्तनामध्ये बसलं खाली.
He went and sat in the kirtans.
जशी वारकऱ्यांच्या डोळ्यात दिसते तीच आस घेऊन बुलडाण्याच्या पालखी सोबत हे सोन पिवळं हरिण चालतंय.
समूह सर्व होते शिव नवे प्राणी मात्र सुद्धा. पण काय नेमकं कुठून ऊर्जा मिळते होई सगळी? खूपच आनंद आहे तो सर्वात आहे ना.
मुक्कामाच्या ठिकाणी हरणानेही विसावा घेतला. कीर्तनाच्या तालात ते सुद्धा तल्लीन झालं. एकूणच वारकऱ्यांच्या दिनक्रमासारखाच हरिणाचाही दिनक्रम तयार झाला.
संतांचं वचन आहे. संत सांगतात प्रत्येक प्राण्यामध्ये प्रत्येक जीवामध्ये भगवंत.
So you can see what is special about this deer. You feel? You observe what is so special about? Actually, ordinary deers are generally afraid of humans. Correct, no? But it is going and sitting in the middle of the kirtan and then and walking with them for 2 days and then it's deriving great delight in that. So maybe he was in the body of a human being. Now he has got the body of a deer. But in the deer's body, the same ruchi, the taste that he has brought in the previous life is coming now. Correct, no? Another one, small child, I'll show you. See, generally children speak at what age they speak generally? Minimum what age it should be? At least 2, 2.5. Correct? Now I'll show you a child who is only about 5, 6 months old. But not only this child will speak, he is remembering a shloka. Mother is telling half shloka and the child is remembering other. I'll show you.
नमामीश्वरम सच्चिदानंद.
Very smart child, you see.
बताओ. नमामीश्वरम सच्चिदानंद रूपम लसत कुंडलम गोकुले भ्राज मानम यशोदा भियो लोक लाब्दा वमानम परमृष्ट मत्यंत तो द्रुते गोप्या रुदंतमो हुर्नेत्र युग्मम भजन्तं करम्भोज युग्मेन शातंक नेत्रम मुहुश्वास कंपात्रि रेखांक कंठम स्थितग्रव दामोदरम भक्ति बद्धम इति द्रक्स्वलीलाभिरानन्द कुन्दे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तमाख्या पयन्तम तदेयेषु ताग्नेषु भक्त जितत्वम जितत्वम होता है, जित्यम नहीं होता है. पुनः प्रेम तस्तम शताव.
See, this child is such a slender child. This is actually a song called Damodarashtakam. November month we sing. Namamishwaram Satchit Anandarupam. It's a song. So you can see, if somebody has sung such songs in the previous life, in the next life, even as a tender child is collecting exactly last birthday. You can see that. So that means your bhakti cuts across many lifetimes. Goes from one lifetime to another. See this child, another child, you will be very amazed to see this child. See this child, you observe it very carefully. You have seen this? How many of you have seen this? If you chant Hare Krishna, you will enjoy. If you stop, you will cry. You saw that? When you keep on chanting, he is very happy. When you stop chanting, he will cry. So, okay, I showed you 3 videos or 4? 3 videos I showed you. One of the dog I showed you, one of the Damodarashtakam child I showed, one of this child I showed, and the deer also I showed. Yeah, deer also. So in this, according to you, which one, who had Sugandhas, like we say, Sugandha Vasana, Durgandha Vasana, I told you, isn't it? So karma vasanas. So who was carrying bad karma vasanas? The dog one, yeah. Some bad karma vasanas in his mind, subtle body is carrying. So that took him to the dog's body, correct now? And the other 3 fellows, they don't have not only positive sukruti, it's a spiritual sukruti they are carrying, correct now? Because without like akarma, I told you, they are carrying akarma. How do you know? Because when you are chanting Hare Krishna, this child is enjoying. When you stop chanting Hare Krishna, he cries. Not ordinary thing. Similarly, the other child is recollecting some words. There is one boy in Karnataka, Bangalore, he's just 4-year-old boy. He can recite, the entire Taittiriya Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad takes 3 to 4 hours to recite. This boy, without seeing, he can recite. And he openly says that, in my previous life, I was a Brahmana, I was a Pandit. You remember his previous life also. What he memorized in previous life, now he is recollecting the whole thing. So I want to get that video also. He has got it, our Swarna Gaurarpu has it. You get it, yeah. So, in this way, the reincarnation is scientifically becoming more and more proven. There is one. If any of you has more interest, you can work with this gentleman. His name is Kunal. See, this Kunal Mule, he's a... See, this is Mr. In America, they are doing mind research. This BI neuro team, all of them are working on mind and body. If anybody wants to work, she has published a book on mind-brain interface. Now many international magazines are publishing. In IIT Mandi also, one new department is started on body and mind. IIT Mandi. Where is it, IIT Mandi? North? Uttaranchal, Himachal Pradesh. Okay. Yeah. If any of you is interested, come over, you can. So these are all scientists working on mind and body. Body, mind, soul. That is their main research. Yeah. So there are... So this is... So the whole thing is a scientist in Caltech. So they are actually bringing up reincarnation related work, lot of work. You heard about Ian Stevenson before. Now this is the latest. What I am telling you is just this year, 2023, many papers are being published on reincarnation now. The most recent one. So if I am not the body, I am the spirit soul. I am going from one body to another. Sometimes dog's body, sometimes human body, sometimes Devata's body. And every time a body is given, because I still have some latent desires to fulfill. That's why we get a body. But if I only have spiritual desires, then I'll go back to Godhead, never to come again. And that place is a place free from old age, disease, death, birth. It is free from thirst, hunger, fear, lamentation, worries, all those things. So in the Gita, Lord Krishna says in the 15th chapter that go back home, back to Godhead and perfect your life. And he gives more information in the 14th chapter about spiritual world. So, in human body, you can understand all these things. You all are getting what I am talking, correct now? But can you teach this to a pussycat or a dog? They can't understand this. This will go beyond their head. They only think about eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So, the training that you get here is a very vital training. Some of you may have a question that our studies are so taxing, and our college has so many assignments, and we are also worried about getting proper placements. Now AI is coming in a big way everywhere. Artificial intelligence is replacing, substituting jobs of humans. Lakhs of humans are being laid off. So the world ahead is sometimes causing fear to us. So you may wonder, in all these things, how can I take out time for the spirituality? But let me tell you, the time that you take out for this, you should consider it an investment. It is not a waste of time. I'll tell you the reason why. People who are not taking spiritual knowledge in, many of them not able to face the challenges of the world and the pressures, peer pressure, academic pressure, they're committing suicide. And needless to tell you, you know about it. Yeah. So one thing is, you definitely want to rise above those pressures. And coming here, I don't have to tell you theoretically, you have experience. Taking part in Kirtan, hearing these lectures, participating in the camps, it really chills the mind, cools the mind. Otherwise our head gets heated up with the modern day type of fast-paced lifestyle, correct or not? Isn't it? So, I heard a story of a Jamindar who gave one woodcutter a job of bringing, he said, every day you cut wood, whatever number of woods you cut and bring, that much I'll give you salary. First day the man cut 1 tree, second day 2 trees, third day 3 trees, so fourth day 4 trees. And if you ask the fifth day what he did, what would you say? 5 trees, isn't it? But he could cut only 1 tree. Can you guess what could be the reason? He saw that the axe had become blunt and it had become heated up. Similarly, our effectiveness and efficiency also reduces in our performance daily when our head gets heated up. Especially head gets heated up due to fear, tension, fear of the future, peer pressure and so many things. So, one has to take out time to sharpen the pencil or sharpen the saw. Is it not true? So, you should consider your coming here as sharpening the saw. It's good for you. Once in a week we have program here like this. And also another thing, Some people say that, many of your friends may say, hey, you can do all these things after you cross 80. You don't have to worry at all. You don't have any exam tension that time. But where is the assurance one will live till 80? If you see some, like during the corona time, children died. Many of the youths passed away also. By one slap of a pandemic. In this world, it's unpredictable. Yeah. Or somebody commits suicide and dies. Somebody gets disease and dies. Somebody dies in an accident. But right now, you're a human body now. And you're seated in this body. And you know very well that you are driver of this body. You are not the body. And this is the time for you to, debug your mind of the impurities. What is the advantage in debugging your mind of the impurities? Then the mind becomes calm, cool, collected, peaceful, cheerful. But if you don't debug the mind of lust, anger, greed and all these things, then those lust, anger and greed also impel you to do bad activities. Like you can see many of your other friends, they go for smoking, they go for drinking. If they start roaming with the girls, for satisfying girls, they spend a lot of money also. Correct, no? And you can see that. You go to the rooms, what is the lifestyle you see? But here, you will be taught clean lifestyle. You know why we follow 4 hereditary principles? You all know that? What are the 4 principles we follow? Anybody knows? No intoxication, he has told one. Anybody else one more? Yeah? No meat eating, no fish meat or eggs. No gambling, no illicit sex. No sex before marriage and no sex outside marriage. But sex is allowed within marriage. So, we follow these 4 principles. And this is called as match formula, we call it. M-A-T-C-H, isn't it? M for mercy. Mercy is against which principle? Meat eating. Because you don't unnecessarily kill your younger brothers. Yeah. And A for austerity is against intoxication. And T for truthfulness, against gambling. And C for cleanliness. And what is unclean is illicit sex is unclean. So, we follow these 4 principles. So, you lead a clean life, pure life. You eat pure food. You live in pure company. Like you heard from many of your seniors today. So, it's a very fine world it is. A world of devotees. So, Prabhupada said in America, people asked him, why have you come to America? Prabhupada said, I have come to convert crow class people into swan class people. Prabhupada said, they asked you, crow class, what is crow class? Crow class, the crows sit in a dustbin, you have seen? And then they pull out some dead rat, stinking stuff and that's what they delight in. Similarly, you will see the crow class people in this world delight in dirty movies, pornography, or drinking, smoking, illicit sex, drugs. They delight in these obnoxious activities. They are called crow class. And swan class means they delight in virtuous activities. Like for example, chanting Hare Krishna, reading Bhagavad Gita, eating prasad, taking darshan of God, bowing down before God, treating one another respectfully, and cultivating good qualities like patience, tolerance, forgiveness. That is one class. Keeping God in the center. Correct, no? So this center is for the same purpose. We have some crow-like qualities. We want to get rid of them and become swan-like. So this is a very good place for that. You cultivate good habits. And here also our students are very focused on academics also. Our academics and spirituality are like 2 lines of the train. We don't compromise on either. Because Krishna only says that. Ma manusmara yudhyacha. He says, remembering me, you do your duty of fighting. So Arjuna was a warrior. So Krishna told him, you remember me and you also fight. For all of your students. So remember Krishna and you also do your studies. So we give 50% weightage we give. Like we have a chart for studies to check every week how many hours you studied. Whether you are properly performing in studies. So seniors will look into that also. As much as we are concerned about whether you are chanting properly. Number of rounds you have completed. Equal weightage we give for academics also. That's one of the reasons many of our students are 9-pointers. In all over India, we have more than 150 centers. But in all these centers, you will find students are very attentive to studies as well as spirituality. And we don't go for the third one, which is sinful life. That we don't go for. Yeah. So now you will see when you come here, your sinful life tends towards 0. It becomes 0. And that time only you are giving for God. You understand, no? See, if you have to smoke, if you have to drink, if you have to do illicit sex, if you have to do gambling, that involves time or not? It takes time, it involves money, it involves bad health, going to doctor, paying doctor's bill, so many things are there. Huh? Whereas when you come here, you can nullify that, make it zero completely. Huh? Pure life. And because those fellows are wasting time in those activities, you are nullifying their activity. That time only you give for coming to class here, chanting. You are not wasting any time. So, like we have morning for Krishna and evening for studies, we say. Morning we get up, we chant, we offer a prayer to the Lord. And then you take prasad, you go to the college. And then evening, we have studies. Every day our students study 3, 4, 5 hours every day on a regular basis. Because they have no other distraction here. And we want to lead a life of good habits, good character, focused life. So many things can be said. When you are here, you also can learn mridanga, how to play. You can play how to play kartal. They'll teach you how to cook. How many of you know cooking here? Any of you know cooking? We have only one friend. What's your good name? Aditya? Aditya, and you also know cooking? What's your name? Dishant. Only 2 of them know. All of you learn how to make chapatis, how to cook sabji, how to cook rice, all the items you will learn here. So, one boy went to America. He said, everywhere I turn around, meat, everywhere meat. So he said, fortunately I learned cooking when I was in the student center. So now he is cooking on his own. So you can learn cooking, cleaning, you can learn mridangam, you can learn kartal, you can learn singing, you can learn how to do puja, and you can also, these are all devotional activities. You also learn public speaking. You will be given training on mentoring, how to do mentoring. You will be given training on leading a department or group. You will be taught how to do organizing. So one of our Pune boys studied in an MBA college in Pune, average college. And his marks were also average marks. When he went to Bangalore for an interview, 3 IIM boys had come. And he was the 4th boy. And 5th boy was another mediocre college boy. But this fellow was chosen for the job. And he couldn't believe his eyes. Because the IIM boys, they knew a lot of stuff, but they were very impatient and they were trying to subdue others and they were pushing themselves forward. So the evaluator was going round and round and watching. So this boy from Pune, very young boy, he heard everybody very patiently. He noted their points. At the end of it, he was the last one to speak. He appreciated each of them. You said this nice, you said this nice, thank you. I appreciate your contribution, very good. And then he said, I also would like to share my thought on this. So would you all like to hear? He said, everybody said yes. Then he spoke up. And 2, 3 of them appreciated his thought also. So later on the boss, when the evaluator said, this is the kind of leader we were looking for. One who is a good listener, one who is respectful to others, one who values others' ideas. Because later on we are going to offer you a very big post in the company. So he was an average boy, he got just some 60, 70% in the MBA. Average boy is. But he wrote a 2-page mail to me saying that, Prabhu, I am very grateful to you. In our student center, I learned all this, how to deal with devotees. So, because he was wearing this Kantimala, and they asked him, can you bring some more boys like you to join our company? He brought a very good name, actually. So, you learn to become a cultured human being here, gentlemanly human being. So, you should not think it's a waste of time. Like some boys say, Prabhu, life is so busy, how do you expect me to learn this? Arjuna was in the battlefield where heads were flying and he took out time. Is there any of us who can say, I am more busier than Arjuna? Where heads are flying in the battle. Even there he took out 1 hour time to hear Bhagavad Gita. Isn't it? And some other people will tell you, hey, no, if you hear Bhagavad Gita, you will become a sadhu Baba, they will say. But Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita from whom? Krishna. After hearing, did he become a monk? No. In our Pune, there are 6,000 members in our community in Pune. Monks like me are only 100. What is 100 divided by 6,000? What is the percentage? It's not even 1%, correct? No? 100 by 6,000 is 1/60th, correct? No? 0.1 is saying. It's not even 1 in 100, not even 1%. Because sadhu's life is a very strict life and very few take up to such kind of role. 99% people are like Arjuna. Therefore, Krishna chose a family man like Arjuna. Otherwise, you would have chosen a monk like Radheshyamdas to speak Bhagavad Gita. Correct, no? So, you will see people who have come here have become very, very noble and great leaders, and they are all across the globe. Now, I am going to America 3 months in a year. When I go to America, many temple leaders are thanking me, saying that in our community, one of your boys has come, is working with Microsoft, and see what kind of service he has done in our temple. We are grateful to you. So whenever I travel, I come across many people like that. When I go to the various temples like that. So my humble request to all of you, many of you sitting here, I heard you have done your Sankalp festival and Sfurti also, correct? How many of you came for Sankalp festival? Good. How many of you came for Sfurti? Sfurti festival? Almost half. Huh? Madhapur also. Yeah. So you all have completed this. And we will have one crescendo or like a climax festival which is called Utkarsh festival. I don't know when is it going to be held in Hyderabad, I don't know. They will do that. They're going to Mayapur? That will be very memorable for you. It's a world headquarters and there will be all over India, more than something like 90 colleges will participate in that. 95 colleges come every year and a total of around 800 students will be there. All over the country they will come. It will be very, very impressionable camp. It's like you are going to spiritual world. It will be like that. So all of you welcome. I'll take only 5 minutes questions and then I'm going to conclude. Yeah. Anybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a question that you just said that in spiritual world there is no birth, death, old disease, old age or disease. But then when we are transferred from this world to the spiritual world, like how do we get there? Like what is the path? Like in this world, we say that we come to this world by being born. So how do we get there without being born?
Yeah, actually that arrangement Krishna says he makes it. There is a Vaikuntha airplane, as we say, which takes, people. I will just show you one. I will show you in this. Krishna talks about it in the 8th chapter, beginning. In the Bhagavad Gita, you will find there. See, everybody goes to childhood, babyhood, childhood, then we all have this phase of life, which is adolescence. Adulthood. So, here in the picture you see, there was one very sinful Ajamila. He had committed a terrible crime. But his last son's name was Narayana. So he called that name at the time of death. So, of course, Yamadutas came to take him to Yamaloka for punishing him. But because he called Narayana's name, Lord Narayana sent his dutas, Vishnu dutas, to pick him up. Mike, man.
Narayan! Oh, Narayan! Stop! Leave this man alone.
Who are you that dares to challenge us? For we are the Yamadutas.
We are the Yamadutas, they were saying, you saw that? So the Yamadutas came to take him to hell for punishing him, correct now? Whereas Vishnudutas came to protect him because he chanted Narayana's name. But of course he was still not free from all the blemish of those sinful activities because he had chanted Narayana's name. But 12 more years were given to him for reformation. On the right side picture you see, they are Vishnu Dutas coming again to take him. Actually, what happened to Ajamila was, after hearing the dialogue between Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas, we will be doing this drama in Mayapur also. It's a beautiful drama. After hearing that dialogue, Vishnu Dutas told the glory of a chanter of the holy name. He heard that and his heart became touched. He repented. He cried bitterly for all the mistakes he did. Then he went to Haridwar in North India. And then he lived in a Vishnu temple. Every day took bath in Ganges, purified his heart. And then after 12 years, Vishnu Dutas came. They came and took him to Vaikuntha. Similarly, this is another Gajendra. You know Gajendra? See, Vaikuntha airplane takes him. Every devotee will be taken to spiritual world like this. He chanted Lord's names. She is coming now, see? It's landing in Vaikuntha.
कौसल्या सुप्रजा राम पूर्वा संध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्तिकम् उत्तिष्ठ गोविन्द उत्तिष्ठ गरुडध्वज उत्तिष्ठ कमलाकान्त त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु.
So, in this way, we are awarded next body according to our desires we store in our mind and the good and bad karma. One gets a different body. And death comes at any time. Any accident can take place. People, while talking only, people are living. So, see, this is how you get body, see. Lusty fellow gets a dog's body, you see. Lazy fellow gets a polar bear. See the polar bear, how lazy fellow, see the polar bear. He doesn't want to get up early. See, envious person becomes a snake and like that. Like this, we all develop our consciousness in this body. It's clear now? It's clear now? So, if you develop divine consciousness, you go back to spiritual world. If you do sinful activities, you may go to hell and suffer and then come back. But for a Krishna devotee, if you have material desires, you will go to heaven to give shape to those material desires. And then Krishna says, then you will come to the earth again and you will be born in the house of a Brahman or a Vaishya, he says. Because in Brahman's house, you get good sanskars. In a Vaishya family like, Goyal or Bansal, Agarwal, Marwadis and all, they are all Vaishya family. They worship Radha Krishna deities, you must have seen. They are very pious people. So these are all devotees who have done bhakti in their last lives. Krishna says, they go to heaven, finish their material desires, come to the earth, they were born in this family, is given one more chance to become a devotee. And if you have done 90% you have done bhakti, still you are reborn, then you are born in Acharya families like our Prabhupada. They are born in pure devotees families. If you have done some bhakti and some material desires is there, then you go to heaven and come. That way for a devotee, future is always bright. If you have material desire, no material desire. If you have material desire, you will go to heaven and fulfill those desires. And then be born in a Brahmana family, Vaishya family. If you are advanced devotee, then you are born in Acharya's families, great families. And then that will be your last life. Then you go back to Godhead. Is that clear? Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Actually,